These vegan, whole food, and gluten-free brownies are so delicious, luxurious, and indulgent tasting. You can trick anybody with a sweet tooth into thinking that they're unhealthy, but they're not. Okay, you guys, I just am coming out of a whole month of not eating any processed or refined sugars, and I had so many times throughout the month where I was really craving something sweet and chocolatey and unhealthy tasting, and I managed to succeed in making a few really good desserts, this being one of them, these sweet potato whole foods brownies. They are made from whole foods like oats, sweet potatoes, and dates, and they're honestly out of this world. Like, you could trick anyone into thinking that these aren't healthy brownies because they're so delicious. So first, bake your sweet potatoes for about an hour until they're soft in the middle and the skins have begun to slightly separate from the insides. What I love about this recipe is that you only need a handful of super simple and healthy whole food ingredients. So I left my sweet potatoes in the fridge overnight. I find this really helps with the caramelization process, and it helps the skins peel off way easier than when they're slightly warm or on the same day that you bake them. But anyway, take off the skins and plop the sweet potato flesh directly into the bowl of a food processor or a blender, whichever one works. I personally prefer to use my food processor for this. And then we're gonna add in our soaked medjool dates. We're using about half a cup here. These are what's gonna really help give it a nice natural sweetness. And then add some vanilla extract and any plant milk of your choice. Here I'm using soy. And then you're just going to process this mixture until it's smooth. Maybe it'll take you about 2 minutes. Scrape down the sides as you need to make sure everything's blended nicely, and then it's going to be super smooth like you see here. Moving on to the dry ingredients, we're going to add our oat flour, which is just ground up oats, into a large bowl with our cocoa powder and our baking essentials like salt, baking soda, and baking powder, and give it a good whisk until it's well combined. Then we're just gonna add those dry ingredients directly into the wet. Just pour them right into your food processor or blender, and we're just going to process it. Super simple. Again, this is probably going to take you about 1 to 2 minutes, scraping the sides as you need to, and your result will be something kind of like this. It'll be super delicious, almost like a pudding texture, and honestly, you could eat it just like this. I had a spoonful and it was freaking delicious. By this point, your oven should be preheated to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Transfer the batter into a parchment-lined square baking tray and pop that bad girl in the oven for 22 to 25 minutes. While that's baking, we're going to make a super simple and healthy, drizzle or glaze. We're just going to combine 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder and 2 tablespoons of sweetener of choice. You can use maple syrup, but here I'm just using some date syrup, and then mix it in with a little bit of plant milk of choice. I use soy, and whisk that all together until it is turned into a liquidy glaze. Ta-da! There is your lovely finished, well, almost finished product. I love the texture of these brownies, you guys. They're not super tough like gluten-free baked goods often are, but they're also not like super mushy as you might expect when using sweet potatoes. They're perfectly soft and moist and have just the best bite to them. The texture is on point and that glaze is just literally the icing on the cake. These babies also come in at under 170 calories per brownie, and I don't know about you, but 170 calories never tasted so good in my opinion. And remember, these are healthy, you guys. Did I mention that they're full of fiber from not only the oats and the dates, but also packed full of vitamin A thanks to the sweet potato, and a boatload of other essential vitamins and minerals thanks to the dates, plus a few helpful antioxidants from the cocoa powder. There's really nothing to feel guilty about with these brownies, and I just love them so much, and I hope you guys do too. You made it to the end of the video, which means you are awesome. Hope you loved watching this recipe and that you are inspired to try making these healthy, whole food, delicious brownies. If you liked watching this recipe video, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. There's lots of other recipes on the channel that are just as good as this one, and I hope that you subscribe. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I'll be seeing you very soon in another recipe video. Bye!